Hey everyone, it is Friday, July 29th. The time is 4:22 p.m. and the temperature outside is around 28 degrees Celsius. And I am here at St George Station. And this is the St George Street exit to the station. And there's a look to the north. And for this one, I'll be walking over to the Royal Ontario Museum. And then I'm going to make my way south down to the Art Gallery of Ontario. So I'll be walking from one popular tourist destination to another. And on the left here is a very curious building. This is the York Club. And that's a private social club that's been operating since 1909. And that old house it sits in dates back to the late 1800s. I think it was finished in 1892. And that was built for the Gooderham family. And they're best known for the Gooderham and Worts distillery down in the distillery district, as well as the Flatiron building. And this here is Bloor Street West. There's a look at the Bata Shoe Museum. I guess I could have called this one Bata Shoe Museum to the art gallery, but I think saying I'm going from the ROM has a better ring, even though I'm still a few minutes away from getting to the ROM. So I'm currently walking east along the south side of Bloor Street. There's someone going the wrong way for some reason. And the long weekend is upon us. Monday is a civic holiday. And there's the Monk School of Global Affairs. Pretty much everything to the right is a part of the University of Toronto. And here's Varsity Stadium on the right. We'll take a peek inside. And you can see the financial district off in the distance. And this was built in 2007, and it replaced a much bigger stadium that went back, I'm trying to remember, I think to 1911. And the stadium it replaced was once home to the Toronto Argos of the Canadian Football League, and there were several Grey Cups held there, and some international soccer matches. And it was even home to a record-breaking 100-meter sprint. There's a plaque commemorating the Grey Cup. And just on the left is the Bedford Road entrance to St George Station. That guy needs to get his bike off the sidewalk. So the ROM is just coming up on the right, but first we gotta walk by Varsity Arena and the Royal Conservatory of Music. And coming up on the right here is Philosopher's Walk. And that'll connect you south to Hoskin Avenue, which runs through U of T. And here's the ROM on the right. And this originally opened back in 1914. And it features over 6 million items in 40 different galleries. It's mostly world culture and natural history. Although this new edition opened in 2005. And $30 million to go towards it was donated by Canadian billionaire Michael Lee Chin. That's why it's known as the Michael Lee Chin Crystal. And coming up is Queen's Park, so we'll be turning right here. Straight ahead will lead you into the Yorkville neighborhood. I'll turn around and get another view of the ROM. And that crystal was designed by Daniel Lipskind. So this is southbound Queen's Park. And on the north side of Bloor, the street is known as Avenue Road. And this leads us towards the Provincial Legislative Assembly. The admission to the ROM runs between $14 and $23. Although I believe it's free for post-secondary students, as long as they have valid ID. And there's a free gallery just in here to the right you can check out if you're ever in the area. And I featured that one on my Doors Open walk. And across the street is the Gardner Ceramics Museum. And here you'll find the entrance to Musuem Station.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the right is the old McLaughlin Planetarium. And that operated between 1968 and 2009, and sadly it was shut down and sold to the University of Toronto, who are going to demolish it probably later this year and build some university facilities on that site. There's another planetarium, but it's up in the Science Center. I remember going to the ROM and planetarium on a field trip as a kid, and the planetarium was by far my favorite part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick to the right side of Queen's Park here, rather than walk through the park itself, which is coming up. That's home to the Faculty of Law and Faculty of Music. And at the center of this park here is the Provincial Legislative Assembly. That's the Canadian equivalent to a state capitol building. So I'm going to make my way down towards College Street. And then there's a nice tree-lined residential street with the CN Tower off in the distance called Henry Street. And I'll take that down to Baldwin Village. And then I'll walk over to the art gallery, and then I think I'll go finish up at Grange Park. I just did another walk the other day that popped out here at Hoskin Avenue, and then I walked north up to Musuem Station. Although on that one I did cut through the park. There's someone trying to find a bike share. So west of here at St George Street, Hoskin turns into Harvard Street, and that'll lead you through Harvard Village. So this part is known as Queen's Park Crescent as it circles around the Legislative Assembly. There's Wycliffe College. And these bike lanes popped up on Queen's Park and University Avenue to the south of here in 2020. And I think they've since been made permanent. There's the Provincial Legislative Building itself. That opened back in 1860. And it sounds like there's some kind of gathering going on. I think it's a kids camp. It says temporary bike lane. I thought City Council voted to make it permanent in December of last year. Might have to double check that list. There is a lot of construction going on at the St. George campus, just on the right there. And on the topic of the ROM, if you are interested in checking it out, you can get a city pass, and that includes the ROM, the CN Tower, Casa Loma, Ripley's Aquarium, and either the Science Center or the zoo for $106 for adults. And that'll set you back $73 for kids. So that's a pretty substantial savings if you're looking to visit multiple places. But sadly, the art gallery isn't a part of that. At least I don't think it is. That's the front of the Legislative Assembly building. We'll get a better look at that in a second. There's another event taking place at this side of the property. And just to the south of here is College Street. If I was feeling ambitious, I think I could take a shortcut here through the university and head down to College Street. Grange Park Station is just up ahead. This will be one of the busiest weekends in the city this year with the big Caravana Festival going on. There's the C. David Naylor building. And this is College Street, so I'm gonna walk west here over to Henry Street. I think I'll have an opportunity to cross before I get there. If not, I guess we'll just have to risk it.
Yeah.
And there's one of my favorite old buildings in the city, the Stewart Building, also known as the Toronto Athletic Club. That went up in 1894 and was designed by E.J. Lennox. There goes the 506 Carlton streetcar. That's the Terence Donnelly Center for Cellular and Biomolecular Research. And here's McCaul Street. So the quickest way to get to the art gallery would be to turn south here and just go all the way down to Dundas and McCaul. But there's no fun in that. So I'm going to walk over to Henry Street and check out a nice quiet residential street. And that'll plot me out in the middle of Baldwin Village. There's a neat view to the south of the tower. Normally this would be a somewhat famous view north, up towards King's College. Construction has gotten in the way of that. Here's Henry Street. There's a neat patio at this pub, just off the main street. It looks like the perfect spot to be on a day like this. And here's Henry Street. I'll keep the camera focused mostly on the right side. Got these nice old Victorian style homes that probably go back to the 1800s. See if we can pick off a heritage plaque on one of them. And on the left, just the back of this apartment complex. And I said there's a nice view of the CN Tower straight ahead, but this would not be the season to be walking south on Henry and getting a view of the tower, obviously. Oops. If you want that, head over to McCaul. There's a church. Does it have a name on it? XB. I bet there were a lot of really nice old homes on this side of the street that made way for this complex. And this is the kind of residential density we need a lot more of in the city. And that's something you'll see a lot of in Montreal, the so-called missing middle, but in Toronto we tend to focus on single-family detached homes and semis. And our residential area is often right next to a subway line, which makes absolutely no sense. And this is the heart of Baldwin Village. Now I have a choice. Do I go left to McCaul or right to Beverley? Used to see a lot more of those on stop signs back in the day. I think I'm going to be going over to McCaul or Beverley. And straight ahead is Chinatown. And you'll notice Chinese characters on the street signs here. Welcome to our worship service. So this is south down the east side of Beverley. And in the other direction to the north of College, it turns into St George Street. And from DuPont all the way down to Queen, you have an excellent bike lane that you can travel north-south on. Cornerstone Prep School. 2.5 years and up. Isn't that really more of a daycare at that point? This will be Darcy Street. And Beverley runs south down to Queen Street. And there is the Italian consulate. If I were on the other side of the street, you'd get a pretty neat view of the CN Tower. I'll be turning left here. This is Dundas. I'll be walking along front the Art Gallery of Ontario, which was founded back in 1900. And there it is. I'm gonna wait for the light cycle here and cross over to the south side. They have over 90,000 works in the art gallery. And between 2004 and 2008, it was renovated rather extensively. And it was, or at least this part was designed by Frank Gehry, a famous Toronto-based architect. It's hosted a number of notable works over the years. And right behind it is the Ontario College of Art and Design. So I'm going to head over to McCaul and we're going to walk in front of that. As soon as we wait for the world's longest light cycle here. And this will lead you right into the heart of Chinatown along Dundas. And admission for adults to the art gallery is $25. But an extra $10 will get you an annual pass. But it is free on Wednesday evenings, I think between 6 and 9. And I'm pretty sure it's free for kids. Definitely go to the website for both the art gallery and the ROM to check out their exact admissions offers. And this is east on the south side of Dundas Street. There's the main entrance. And there's a number of smaller galleries across the street. The Baoji Gallery, a place called the Hair Gallery, Art Square Gallery and Cafe, that looks like it's no longer there. Canada's Art Auctioneers, that funky 3D Van Gogh display is right there as well. Here's McCaul Street. And this is a new addition.
Hey, I have some clients from New York.
This is the Couch Monster. And coming up is OCAD with its kind of flying tabletop design. That stands for the Ontario College of Art and Design, and that was established back in 1876. And it got its university status in 2010. Although everything's a university these days. And this edition was designed by a Canadian named Will Aslop. We'll get a better view of it on this side of the street. And because it's Caravana weekend, it's not uncommon to see a lot of American cars driving around, although it's been a few years since we've seen that. That car was from Indiana. And apparently hotel prices are sky high right now in the city. So I'm going to head across into Grange Park. And we'll get a look at the backside of the art gallery. Well, it doesn't look like there's a dry route to cross there. That's the art gallery straight ahead. Built around this old preserved mansion. I think that's a stairwell that juts out. And I think that's about it for this one. I'm gonna hit the reset button and record a second one. I'm still trying to stock up on videos for my trip. So I hope you enjoyed this one, starting at St George Station, walking by the Royal Ontario Museum, and making my way south all the way down to past the Art Gallery of Ontario to here at Grange Park. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below, and if you wish to support the channel, there's links to Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description. And I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides. And there's now a super thanks button appearing below these videos. Anywho, thank you for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.